6:35 here, Big 550 KTRS. Lois Gibbs is the co-founder of the Center for Health, Environment, and Justice. Lois, welcome to Big 550 KTRS here in St. Louis.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to turn our attention away from what's going on in Ferguson for just a minute to talk about what's going on in Bridgeton, and that is that landfill, that Westlake landfill, as well as the burning dump and the nuclear waste site. Lois, thanks for joining us here. What is this event going on August 16th?
Well, it's an event that's going to talk about what people can do about it. I mean, what's happening in Westlake is just outrageous, and it's very similar to actually my experience many, many years ago at Love Canal, where I lived around a dump as well, and I can certainly relate to these folks trying to get some resolution to the problem, and my kids were sick, and so we're really going to talk about what does the dump look like? How do you get it cleaned up? How do you get people moved out? There's no reason people should be living there. It's just absolutely outrageous.
Let's talk about Love Canal for just a moment, because a lot of people have heard that name. A lot of people have absolutely no idea what you mean when you say Love Canal. What happened at Love Canal?
Love Canal, and I understand that, especially your younger listeners, sure. Love Canal is located in Niagara Falls, New York, and it was a dump site that had 20,000 tons of chemicals in it. And when I moved into that community, I had no clue. It was actually located in the center of the community with our elementary school built on the perimeter of the dump and the playground over the top of the dump. People visualize dumps as having barrels and junk and stuff on top of it. Love Canal actually was just a grassy field on top. That's all you could see. But beneath it was this toxic soup that began to leak out and go into these 10 blocks of communities, essentially 900 families, homes and backyards and front yards. And I just, when I moved in with my kids, I thought, gee, I got the American dream, I got the house, I got the picket fence, the station way, all this kind of stuff, only to find out that after living there for 5 years, my son Michael got very, very sick. And when I tried to figure out what was wrong with him through my pediatrician, we couldn't find anything. And one day, a journalist wrote this article in our local newspaper, and it talked about Love Canal and the chemicals and what happens, and I was, oh my gosh, this is horrible. This is what is wrong with my son. The chemicals had moved out of the canal underground, had moved and seeped in or evaporated into our basement, and our home was a toxic dump. And we were breathing these chemicals each and every day. And when we asked the state for assistance, and they said no. And when we asked for EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, for assistance, they said no. They said that, we don't know what to do with this. And similar to what they're saying about the fire in the nuclear dump there, too. Well, we don't know how to put out the fire. Well, we don't know how to contain the fire. Well, in the meantime, all these people are being exposed as we were. So I started going door to door to ask people if they wanted to join me in trying to close the school as a first step. And when I went door to door, it was astounding how many people had various diseases, miscarriages, birth-defected children. I mean, the list goes on, central nervous system disease, epilepsy, learning disabilities, just this huge list of things. And I'm like, I'm not the only one. And so we formed the Love Canal homeowners to try to create the pressure to get the state and later the federal government to come in and to evacuate us. We, unlike...
Lois, is it not true that the federal government came in and bought everybody out? Is that what happened?
They did. In 1980, they came in. There was not a Superfund at that time. Remember, Superfund came as a result of Love Canal so that no other community like Westlake would ever have to suffer again. But President Carter came in, actually stood on stage in our community and evacuated all 900 families who wished to leave. So it wasn't a mandatory evacuation. It was an optional evacuation, and you had to leave within a time period, which I can't quite remember. I think it was like 3 years. And over 800 families moved out of Love Canal.
Yeah. How's your son doing now?
He's doing great, actually. Yeah, he's married and happy and healthy now.
All right.
Now that we moved away.
So you bring this back to Westlake Landfill. It seems like these people there have been getting the runaround for years. This one says, talk to that guy. That guy says, says talk to this governmental agency. That person says you need to talk to your elected officials. The elected officials say we want answers. And so these people are getting a complete and total runaround. Lois, what can you do?
Well, what they need to do is organize, and they really need to go after those who can give them what they need. And that's not going from one agency to the other and getting more scientific studies. The scientific studies only tell you how fast you're being exposed into what you're being exposed to, and the risk assessment will tell you how quickly you're going to die. It's really a political fight. A lot of people think it's just about the magic facts. Well, the magic facts don't work. And the two places where they have power to give the folks in Westlake what they want is the Environmental Protection Agency, who has evacuated people before, and they go after the responsible party, which is Republic Services, to recoup the money so that, the taxpayers aren't paying for it, or go after Republic Services, because Bill Gates is a main shareholder in Republic Services, and he's one of the richest men in this country. He could loan the money and evacuate the people or whatever is necessary, and then Republic Services can pay him back over a long term. He doesn't need the money.
I don't know. I've never been to Love Canal. I know it's sort of near Niagara Falls, but I've been to the Westlake landfill. There's not just homes, there's businesses, there's Earth City all right there. You can't relocate Rams Park and everything else. You're going to have to clean it up.
Well, you relocate the people closest to the site first. And, at Love Canal, we moved 3 churches that were located there. They purchased the building, and those faith organizations bought new buildings in a different place, and their parishioners followed them to this other place. We had several stores as well. We had parks. We had all of that stuff. But Times Beach is not that far from where you all are either, and that whole city was also evacuated by the Environmental Protection Agency. And I think the answer is we don't want to blight the city. What you want to do is evacuate the people and the businesses who choose to leave, and the faith institutions and others, and then get them out of harm's way, and then you go back, you clean up the site, and then you revitalize the neighborhood. That's what they did at Love Canal. They put 200 families back into Love Canal after they cleaned it up, after they did all this stuff. So it's not, you want to move people out of harm's way. It doesn't have to be a total evacuation like Times Beach and it's gone forever, or there's another place in Oklahoma. It could be a place that people are gone, removed from harm's way, and then you go back and you revitalize it. You clean it up and you resell those homes.
What is Love Canal doing now? Is it just a nice little small community, or has it been scarred forever by this?
The southern end of it is not livable. It's just absolutely not livable. That's where I lived. There's a fence around the dump itself. And then the northern end, they resold those homes to 200 families, and there's a creek that runs through there. And, it's a regular suburban city community, probably not a whole lot different than Westlake.
Lois, I got to run, but it's been interesting. You're the founder of the Center for Health and Environmental Justice. Saturday, August 16th, there is a banquet and a conversation with the community at the Arts Banquet and Conference Center in Maryland Heights. Where can we go for more information and tickets and all that type of stuff?
You can go to the Westlake group, and I don't have that in front of me.
It's on Facebook. It's on Facebook. Yeah, just go to the Westlake Landfill Facebook, and I'm sure all that information is there.
Yes, it is.
Lois Gibbs, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You got it. 8:30 here.